yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships, like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Because you know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Coward.
You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times. So, you know, if I burn out, I burn out.
Pierce had it poked away, stolen by Jordan. Lojas down on the floor. It's loose to Humphries. 4 to shoot. Humphries 3.
You like the idea. Jordan coming up with the steal.
Oh, look at that. The 40-year-old dives to the hardwood.
Kevin's a great player. I think that his legacy is complicated. You know, I don't like any guys who join super teams. I'm biased against LeBron when comparing him to Michael, joining Dwayne and those guys. Because, you know, when we had this debate, and LeBron's amazing and spectacular, but I was like, Michael didn't join anybody. He just kept getting his ass kicked and got bigger and got stronger and finally knocked the wall down. And, you know, Kevin, who's a great player, you know, other than the fact when he joined the Warriors, he hasn't been successful anywhere else. And I don't hold that against him, but he wants to be considered in that list. He's not on that list. He's not on that list. He's a great, great player, but he's not on that list. He wants to be like, wow, he's not in a GOAT conversation, because you're not, plain and simple.
Damn.
You had great success when you joined the Warriors, but not only did you not have success, you actually flamed out in those other places. You got swept last year in the playoffs. You didn't even make the play-in this year.
One joke on a podcast just ended Kevin Durant and LeBron James's credibility. They sat there mocking the greatest player who ever lived, laughing about his darkest moment like it was nothing, but the basketball world heard it, and Charles Barkley made sure they paid for it. What he said on live TV didn't just defend Michael Jordan, it exposed everything fake about today's superstars.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
I mean, that's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
The next day.
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
I twisted my ankle and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play, I want to win. I want to make an impact.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
LeBron James started a podcast called Mind the Game. The whole point was supposed to be deep basketball conversations with real players, but anyone who actually watches it knows what's really happening. Every few episodes, they take shots at the legends who came before them and their favorite target, Michael Jordan. They can't help themselves. Kevin Durant showed up as a guest one day. The conversation turned to how exhausting NBA careers can be, how mentally draining it gets after a decade in the league. Durant started philosophizing about that moment when players ask themselves if they still want to keep grinding. Then he dropped a comment that changed everything. He brought up how some players handle that pressure differently. Some guys, according to Durant, decide they want to take a break and try baseball for a while, then maybe come back later. Other guys, he said with a smirk, just push through and play 22 seasons straight without stopping. Anyone with a brain knew exactly what he meant. The baseball comment was about Jordan retiring in the 90s. The 22 straight seasons was about LeBron never taking a break. And LeBron, he thought it was hilarious. Started cracking up like Durant just roasted Jordan perfectly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
And you think it's funny?
But what they either forgot or didn't care about was the context. Michael Jordan didn't leave basketball in 1993 because he was tired or bored. His father had just been murdered. James Jordan was killed during a robbery that summer. And Michael Jordan, who was at the absolute peak of his powers, walked away from everything to honor his dad's memory. His father always wanted him to play baseball, so that's what he did. When Durant casually throws out that baseball line with a grin on his face, he's not just being ignorant, he's being cruel. He's taking one of the most painful moments in Jordan's life and turning it into a punchline for his podcast first appearance. And LeBron sitting right there laughing, that's co-signing it, that's saying, yeah, this is funny to us. Let's be clear about when Jordan retired. Was it after losing in the first round, after choking in the finals? No. Jordan retired after winning 3 straight championships, a three-peat. He reached the top of the mountain, did something incredibly rare, and stepped away while dealing with unimaginable grief. Calling that quitting is not just wrong, it's disgusting. And the irony here is almost too perfect. The two guys making these comments, Kevin Durant and LeBron James, two of the biggest quitters in NBA history. Durant joined the Golden State Warriors after they beat him in the playoffs, the same Warriors team that went 73-9, the team that already had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. That decision is still considered the weakest move in basketball history. Since leaving Golden State, Durant demanded out of Brooklyn after things got tough, couldn't handle the pressure, then went to Phoenix and wanted out of there too. This is the guy calling Michael Jordan a quitter because he honored his murdered father's dream. LeBron's not much better. When Cleveland wasn't working out the first time, he ran to Miami to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. When that situation started declining, he left for Cleveland again. Then when that got complicated, off to Los Angeles. Every single time things got difficult, LeBron found an escape route. So for these two to mock Jordan for stepping away after a three-peat following his father's death, that takes serious nerve. But Durant kept pushing the narrative. He said the real accomplishment in basketball should be playing 20 years, not championships, not MVPs, not dominating the game, just sticking around and collecting paychecks. LeBron nodded along like this was some deep wisdom.
To have a long career, that's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
You know, it's all about winning championships and winning.
Garth Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it up ahead.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships, like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
This rest stuff just drives me crazy. You're playing basketball for a living, okay? I understand if you're working in a coal mine, that you may need a rest day after it. You're playing basketball.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
This is where their entire argument falls apart because Michael Jordan never chased longevity. He chased perfection. Every season had one goal, be the best version of himself and win championships, dominate both ends of the floor, leave everything out there. If that meant a shorter career, he didn't care. Jordan even said it himself. If I burn out, I burn out. That just means my career's short and I'll go play golf. Compare that to what Durant just said. Playing 20 years is the goal, not being great, not building a legacy that matters, just surviving, just hanging around. Jordan played 13 full seasons. In that time, he won 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and made 9 all-defensive teams. That's not just impressive, that's near perfection compressed into basically a decade. Now look at Durant and LeBron combined. They've played 39 seasons together, almost 3 times longer than Jordan's run. And what do they have to show for it? 6 total championships, 5 MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles combined, 5 all-defensive selections total. In 40 years of basketball between them, they've accomplished less than Jordan did in 1 decade. Think about that math, twice the time on the court, half the achievements to show for it. Charles Barkley saw all of this happening and decided enough was enough. When someone asked him about Kevin Durant's legacy on live TV, Barkley didn't sugarcoat anything. He went straight for the truth. Kevin's a great player, Barkley said, but his legacy is complicated. Then he explained why. Barkley made it clear he doesn't respect players who join super teams. He specifically called out LeBron for teaming up with Wade and Bosh in Miami. Then he compared that to Michael Jordan. Michael didn't join anybody, Barkley said. He just kept getting beat up and got bigger and stronger and finally broke through. That line hit different because it's the truth. Jordan stayed in Chicago through all the tough losses to Detroit. He didn't run. He didn't form a super team. He fought until he won. Then Barkley turned his attention to Durant. He pointed out that outside of Golden State, Durant hasn't been successful anywhere. He got swept in the playoffs with Brooklyn, missed the playoffs entirely with Phoenix. Every time Durant tried to be the lone leader without a super team around him, it fell apart. He wants to be in the GOAT conversation, Barkley said flatly. He's not, plain and simple. No hesitation, no sugarcoating. For the first time in years, someone with a platform actually stood up and said what everyone was thinking. The LeBron and KD media wave had been running unchecked for so long that people forgot you're allowed to challenge them. But Barkley wasn't just defending Jordan, he was defending the integrity of basketball itself. There's a pattern happening in the NBA right now. Modern players are trying to rewrite history. They're trying to make the legends from the past look outdated or overrated. And LeBron has been leading this campaign for years. Remember when LeBron said, "We done with the 90s"? that wasn't just a casual comment. That was him trying to brush off the entire era that defined greatness in basketball. He's been doing this for a while. Instead of building himself up through his own achievements, he's been trying to tear down the past, make it seem like Jordan had it easy, like the competition wasn't real, like the grind wasn't brutal. But the facts don't support that narrative. Jordan never begged for help, never ran to form a super team. He stayed and fought and won. That's the difference Barkley was highlighting. Respect isn't given in this league, it's earned. And if you're going to mock Jordan, you better come correct with your own resume. The disrespect goes even deeper when you understand Jordan's mentality about playing. When he came into the league as a rookie in 1984, he played all 82 games, every single one. That year, 40 players in the NBA played a full season. Jordan averaged over 38 minutes per game. He was an Iron Man from day one. This was during an era when basketball was more physical. Teams flew commercial. They had one trainer. Practice was harder and longer. Back-to-back games were constant, and yet players still showed up. In the 1999-2000 season alone, 58 players played all 82 games. 58. Now compare that to today. The last few years have set records for the worst player availability in NBA history, and this is happening when players have every possible advantage. Private jets, entire medical staffs, sports science, personalized nutrition, state-of-the-art facilities. They have everything, and they're playing less than ever before. Why? Because the mindset changed. Jordan talked about this without even mentioning names. He explained that he never wanted to miss games because it was an opportunity to prove himself. The fans paid money to watch. He wanted to impress that person sitting in the top deck who probably worked hard just to afford a ticket. That's respect for the game. LeBron has only played a full 82-game season once in his entire career, one time in over 20 years. Players like Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Allen Iverson did it multiple times, but the so-called face of the NBA, the guy chasing Jordan's legacy, he's done it once. And when LeBron sits out games for rest, it sends a message to the whole league. If the best player can skip games, why can't everyone else? It trickles down. Role players start resting. Bench guys start resting. The whole culture shifts to treating regular season games like they don't matter. Now, guys are even sitting out playoff games. Jordan's era was different because Jordan set a different standard. When Michael Jordan was the face of basketball, players competed. They showed up. They played through injuries. Jordan himself missed 64 games one season with a broken foot. Management wanted him shut down for the entire year. Jordan refused. He came back on limited minutes, but when games were close in the final seconds, he demanded to be on the floor. The crowd went crazy. Jordan got his way, and he played. That's what real leadership looks like. That's what the face of a league should be. There's a bigger issue happening here that people need to understand. In this podcast era, tearing down legends has become not just acceptable, but encouraged. Players like Jeff Teague, Tracy McGrady, Dwayne Wade, Gilbert Arenas, and now Durant and LeBron are all taking shots at Jordan and Kobe.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day of work.
Kobe didn't want to disappoint his fans, especially the ones in the 300 sections that saved up to watch him play. I remember asking him why he couldn't just sit a game out because he was hurting. He said, "What about the fans that saved up to watch me play just once?" He never forgot about his fans.
Everyone's looking up at the guys on top of the mountain, and the easiest way to get attention now is to knock them down, but Jordan doesn't need to respond directly. His 6 championships respond for him. His perfect finals record responds for him. His highlight reel responds for him. And most importantly, his mentality, the mentality that built the NBA into what it is today, responds for him. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird earned everything they got. When corporations came calling with sponsorships and endorsements, these guys had already proven themselves on the court. They had the results to back up the hype. Today, players get max contracts and shoe deals before they play a single NBA game. They're paid on potential instead of performance, and that creates entitlement. When everything gets handed to you, you don't work as hard. You don't appreciate it the same way. Jordan's rookie contract was nothing compared to what rookies make now. He had to earn every dollar, every sponsorship, every bit of respect. That hunger is what made him great. That's what modern players are missing. So when Durant says the goal is playing 20 years, he's exposing the difference between his generation and Jordan's. Jordan never wanted to just stick around. He wanted to dominate, to be the best, to leave a legacy nobody could touch. And he did that in 13 full seasons. Durant and LeBron have had almost 40 combined seasons, and they're still chasing Jordan's shadow. Here's the kicker that nobody's talking about. NBC recently brought Michael Jordan back into the NBA fold. Why? Because even now, over 20 years after retiring, Jordan has more power and influence than LeBron James or even Adam Silver. When Jordan speaks, people actually listen. If Jordan says players should compete, should show up for games, should respect the fans, that message resonates. It changes culture. That's Jordan's real response to Durant and LeBron, not words on a podcast, not a Twitter rant. His response is his continued relevance. His response is that his name still carries more weight than anyone playing today. His response is that when the NBA needs to fix its culture problem, they don't call LeBron, they call Michael Jordan. Durant and LeBron can laugh on their podcast all they want. They can dismiss championships. They can dismiss the triangle offense. They can dismiss everything Jordan built. But at the end of the day, they're still measured against him. Every debate still comes back to Jordan. Every all-time list still has him at number one. And no amount of longevity will ever change that.
All right, Laker Nerd asks, why is the triangle offense less utilized in today's game?
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
10 to shoot. Jake going right to the rack. No defensive communication.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
It's funny, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
Like you mentioned a little bit about today's game, because we had Club on here and he talked about load management. He said, I don't know what the hell that is. Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
Charles Barkley understood something crucial when he went on TV and said what he said. He wasn't just protecting Jordan's legacy, he was protecting basketball itself, because there's a dangerous cycle starting. LeBron and KD are chipping away at the past to make themselves look better, but they're building the exact same culture that's going to destroy their legacies next. One day soon, they'll retire, and the same culture of disrespect they helped create is going to come for them. The next generation of players who never watched them play will call them overrated, will say the competition was weak, will mock their failures. It's the loop they started and they won't be able to stop it. That's why Barkley's message was so important. You don't get to rewrite NBA history just because it doesn't fit your narrative. You don't get to mock the 90s when that era built everything you benefit from today. You owe your careers to the foundation those players created, and whether LeBron and KD want to admit it or not, that same era they're disrespecting will eventually become them. One day it'll be their turn in the hot seat, and when that happens, no podcast joke will save them. LeBron's recent behavior proves this is already starting. Launching a podcast isn't about honoring basketball, it's about controlling the narrative. Calling himself the GOAT in interviews, making excuses about never having help, obsessing over staying in the spotlight after 2 decades, people are noticing, and when LeBron laughs at Jordan's pain like it's a punchline, those moments chip away at everything he's built. You can't mock a legend and expect the basketball world to forget. LeBron has always been great at playing the media, but this time the mask is slipping. When truth and emotion and legacy collide, no amount of PR spin can save you. Michael Jordan didn't chase 20-year careers, he chased perfection. He maximized every single season, won championships, won MVPs, dominated on both ends of the floor, left everything on the court. If that meant burning out early, so be it. That's the mentality that separates legends from stat chasers. In one podcast episode, LeBron James and Kevin Durant tried to rewrite history. They mocked the era that made basketball what it is today. They joked about one of the most tragic moments in sports history like it was nothing. They assumed nobody would challenge them, but Charles Barkley did, and his message was crystal clear. The GOAT debate was never just about numbers or trophies or records. It's about respect. It's about how you carried yourself. It's about what you stood for. And in that category, Michael Jordan still runs the game by a mile. No amount of podcast laughs or longevity stats will ever change that, because greatness doesn't need 20 years to prove itself. It just needs one moment, one season, one era to show the world what the best looks like. Jordan had 13 of those seasons, and that's still more than enough to stand alone at the top. If you respect the real history of basketball and think players need to stop rewriting the past, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment and let me know. Did LeBron and KD cross the line, or is this just part of the game? Because this debate is far from over and we're just getting started.